Yeah, the way that we were taught, um, it really gave us a ill-conceived concept of God because we of course know that there's no way he can be three parts to one. Okay. We also know that the same God that was there in the beginning in the triple stage darkness um, is not the uh, same God that is on scene today. I'm talking in terms of being a physical man. Okay? So we must understand time and how God lives forever, eternally, through time as a man. Okay? Like I said, it's important that we understand this because we're right, a lot of us are right up in 2019 with this ill conceived conception of God when we need to know the reality of God. This is why we are delivering this word to you so that you will know um, the reality of God. Now, some Zeus looking white man that you might have conceived in your mind as God because you've been taught um, and given this image, okay, that that is God, or Jesus, which we know is the furthest thing from the truth. Now, even if you pull up a mental image of a black man, brothers and sisters, we're still talking about God. Okay, yeah, Jesus was a black man, but we're still talking about God. So the point that I'm trying to make is that when we understand the terminology, the attributes, the degrees, all of these things must be considered when we're talking about God, okay? Because God is ever moving, okay? Going higher and higher. And this is why his wisdom is what we term unlimited, okay? And just gets higher and higher. He don't stay in one space in the concept that we've been taught. You know, that hmm, he's the same yesterday as he was today. Of course, the wisdom is the same yesterday as it is today. But we still have to consider the progression of God, okay? Because remember, in the beginning, he went to war with that darkness, okay? That meant that over time, he had to fight that and be successful in that battle. And also, he had to pretty much make that defeat over the darkness the law. Do you understand? And so once the law is implemented, it becomes the rule, the reality. Okay? And this rule, this reality, is handed down through time, through different men who, in fact, knows the most, more than anybody. Okay? And that is the one who is God. So I'm taking my time going over this reality of God so that you can begin to grasp and eat and understand just who God is and how he works, how he is able to live forever through people, not through false ideas and concepts that will not be proven to you. Everything we share with you, you can confirm this either in scripture or in reality. Okay? So, like I said, a lot of us are right in 2019 without a proper understanding of God and how he works. Okay? Now, because God passed his mind and his wisdom to the Son of Man, and it was the law, okay, we talking about laws here. That same law that created the universe, this is how God lives forever. Do you understand? Now, take note of what I just said because we're going to come right back to it. Okay, we're going to get ready to wrap this thing up and close. But this is going to come up again. Okay? And we're going to prove everything we say here. Okay? So, this high stream of vibratory frequency is a force that is forever present and it cannot die. You understand? The wisest and most high is the one man who is recorded as being the highest of all beings in space and time. He is known as God. He is Allah. He is all of them. Okay? Now watch the terminology. Mahdi is the self-guided one. Self-guided and independent, has no equal. Okay? These are levels and degrees of his mind. Do you understand? This is what we're talking about when we say Mahdi, when we say Son of Man, when we say Allah. We are talking about the same being, okay? But only we are introducing you to different attributes and degrees of wisdom of his mind and his heart. Do you understand? Okay, so the Son of Man, who is on scene today, he has been given authority and power to judge the people. He is the one who was especially prepared. Do you hear me? This took a lot of preparation to get Son of Man to be born to fill him with light so that he can come and deliver us. This took a lot of preparation. Okay? So, Son of Man is the one who was prepared, to deal with the God of this world. Okay? You got to understand that we're talking about the reality of God. And we're covering specific attributes. Okay? Right. And the terminology to describe those degrees. Okay? I'm going to keep going over this so that you can grasp it. Now we're going to go higher and higher. Okay? In his infinite wisdom, and that is what we're doing. But these different attributes and degrees of his mind is considered all one that we call Allah, starting with the one who was in the triple stage darkness. And then we move on to the one who is independent. And then we move on to the one who is in authority here and now, who we call Son of Man. Okay? This is aka Master W. Fard Muhammad, whom we read about in the 24th chapter of the Bible. Okay? He is the one in this hour who will deliver justice. He will set justice in the earth. Son of Man, the one who was especially prepared to set justice in the earth in this hour, as we read about in the Bible, in the book of Matthew, the 24th chapter, verses 27 through 30. Now, he is the Son of Man because he is of that original man who was there in the beginning in triple stage darkness. He is also of the made man. Okay? The difference is self-creation and being made. Okay? The made man was not part of the beginning of time, if I could put it that way. Oh, excuse me, because the made man has only been here for the last, 6,000 years. Okay? So, a made man versus a original man, there's no birth record for the original man. So I want you to understand the time we're looking at and the differences when we say original and made. Okay? We know that the made man was grafted man. All right? But I want you to understand that the Son of Man is of both. Okay? So he knows, forgive me, the innermost thoughts of both people. You understand? Because he was created, in fact, to give justice to both people. Okay? So let's continue. All right? See, family, the enemy, well, at least those that are unaware. I can't say that all of them are not aware of this, okay? But some of the enemy's camp really knows who the Son of Man is and what he is capable of, okay? And I would point out that to be those who are the unseen hand here in America. That would be the dragon over there in Rome. They know what Son of Man is capable of, okay? But they are house divided. You have to consider that as well. And some of the U.S. government, the FBI branch in particular, who tracked and followed and stalked and locked Son of Man up when he was here among us, and tracked him to an airplane and say that, well, he mysteriously disappeared. See, we know better than to think something like that, okay? Because we know how real he is, and he is going to show that unseen force over there in Rome how real he is. We know better than to think that he is just some white man that started the Nation of Islam and riled up the U.S. government and riled up the black people and then left. We know better than to think of him along those terms. We know that he's working in this hour and that some serious things are going to take place because he is present. And that is what we're trying to get you to eat and understand. Okay? So we're going to know, they're going to know a little bit better. Like I said, I think the dragon already knows. But those who are divided in that house, the enemy's house I'm talking about, they are about to know what the Son of Man is truly capable of. Okay? And here is why. We're going to go back to the language of the hour, which is 2019. Okay? So when we add that, we get the ruler, okay, number 12. And then we add that give us, from the ruler, the 12, we get a 1 and a 2. And we add the 1 and the 2, we get 3. That gives us 3. The 1 is representative of the God, and the 2 is representative of duality, opposing forces. When the face of God and the face of the devil face off and clash there, we get the 3, which is trial. So on both sides, the God mind and the satanic mind are under trial right now because the Son of Man is present. And anything that he touches has to adhere to his presence. Okay? Try to think about it like this. We have a physical sun out there. And anything that physical sun touches, it transforms, it changes, it gives life, in other words. Okay? So some changes has to take place. Well, the ruler, the Son of Man, that is counterpart, spiritual counterpart to that physical sun. So anything that he touches in this hour has to transform and become changed, and will be tried, as I pointed out to you in the language, the mathematical language, the last code here. Okay, so the enemy's camp is going to come under trial as well as the believers. Okay. The minister taught us that trials are necessary to establish the truth. Okay, the truth will be established here about both forces. Okay, when we add the 12, the ruler, to the enemy's Masonic revered number 33, we get 45. All right, the 4 plus the 5 equals 9, and that is the number of completion. Okay, this means when the ruler's mind touches the enemy's mind in this hour, he, the Son of Man, will complete and finish them. Okay, and just how do we know this? All right, we know these things for a few reasons. Okay, one being that mathematics is the language of the universe. Okay, this is something that has been established since the beginning of time. All right. The second reason we know this is because it was written. Now remember, when we talk about something that is written, we're talking about also prophecy, something that has already transpired, something that has already taken place and been recorded. Okay, so these things in this hour were written about the Son of Man and how he would come on scene and how the nations would mourn at his coming and how he would come with great glory and power, which we read about him in the 24th chapter of Matthew. Okay? So we know it was written and we know it's prophecy. All right? And 3, we can confirm it in the scripture, where the angel shared with John the judgment of the great whore, who sits upon many waters. Check the language that the angel used, the scientists. They talk about America and the kings of the earth. Huh? The judgment of the great whore with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication with. He also shared with John in Revelation chapter 17 verses 5 that the seven of the kings, there are 7 and 5 have fallen. Then he talks about one that is, and he also talks about the beast in the same breath. Okay, so John, if you pay close attention to his language, he's saying all of this past, present, and future things the way that it's put to give you a picture of the enemy, okay, which is the beast, and to make you aware, to make us aware that just because you see, okay, the beast in power, it does not mean that that is going to forever be a reality, okay? And we'll go over that again one more time just so you know and understand what is meant by these things. Okay. So he tells them, "Come, let me show you the judgment of the great." Okay, just give me a moment here. I'm reading. All right. We're going to start with the kings. He said, "There are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come. And when he come, he must continue a short space. And the beast that was, and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7th, and go into perdition." Okay. So, excuse me. He's saying to us, he said the beast that was and is not. Okay, that's not a riddle. He's talking that way to show John that just because you might see this enemy in power, that's only going to last for so long. Okay, that's why he said the beast that was and is not. He's pointing to an event that's going to cause the was and the is not. All right. So he's telling us that this king has fallen. Okay, and somebody else is on the way. And that person is going to have the same mind of the 7. And he's going to be the 8th. He's going to go for a short space. But even that person, whoever it is going to go into perdition, go into ruin. Okay, it's important that we understand the language in this scripture as well as the language in the universe. And this is why I'm trying to tie it all together for you so you can understand these events. Okay, so just stay with me. All right. So then we know that this beast spoken of here is going to take a blow to the head. It's going to be wounded. Okay, we're going to have to look for that. The beast will be wounded to the extent of the dragon giving the beast his power, seat, and authority. Okay, so I keep saying this in all of these last few videos. Look for that shift in power, because this is pretty much the year it's going to happen. Okay. The angel is teaching us the passages of time and how it relates to people in real time and in the scripture. Do you understand? This is how we know the beast will be wounded in this hour. Okay. Now, at this point, family, you should be identifying, everyone spoken of here. The woman, the child, the dragon, the beast, Okay? Because these people were recorded in the scriptures, fulfilling the promise of God in space and time. Okay, so the woman, the dragon, and the child is still pretty much at play here. Okay? And this year is going to pretty much complete this coded sequence that Father shared with us, this language of the universe. Okay? So we need to understand God's law as it relates to scripture, as it relates to prophecy, as it relates to the universe. Okay? We're almost done. Just gotta go over a few more things. We're gonna wrap this up. All right, now I want you to, excuse me, I want you to think about the law. Okay? And when I say the law, I'm talking about not just what is written in scripture. I'm also talking about universal law, the laws that the universe were created out of, like the laws of mathematics and science. Okay? Laws of polarity and all these kinds of things. Okay? So the question becomes, what laws are at play here? Okay? We have to ask this question. And it's very, very important that we understand that there's no tricks or no lies here. Okay? We're not dealing with dark magic as the enemy does. We're dealing with reality. Okay? So the question becomes, okay, we need to be speaking and seeing the language of the